Well, here we are again live for another roll reveal. This one's number 688. It is a 2024 Denver roll. Just got finished with a Philadelphia roll, didn't find anything in it. Hopefully our luck is better this time around. So what do you say we get started? Here's our roll and my little picker that I use to pick. It's a little plastic. It's a screen tool. Take screens off of cell phones, and it works really well for doing this job without harming the coins. Gets that paper right nice straightened out. I'm going to flip it over here and go with the other side. Hello, Mr. McCumber. Alright, here we go. Paper over the wrapper. Wrapper over the coins. Paper and wrapper are the same thing, Chuck. Alright, here we go. 2024 D. Never looked inside one of these. So here we go. Coin number 1, Paul Hampton. Don't see anything there. Let's see. Reverse looks normal as well. Number 2, Sissy. Nothing obversing me. Side number 2 here. The flip side, the B side. Nothing. Okay. We could run into nothing here. It's hit or miss. Never know. Matt? And nothing there. On next now to Stan. What do we have for Stan? Nothing on the obverse. Let's check the reverse. Nothing there. Nothing so far. 4 coins in. Here's number 5 for Ant. These designs lately, it looks like the Shield Master is starting to get a little worn, and they don't come out as clean as they did back in the teens. Hopefully that changes, because I'm seeing what appears to be just a bunch of soft details, and soft details with barely enough strike to fill them in. Shows some of the complexities that the mint is going through in trying to save money minting coins by doing it with less pressure and thinner dies. Doesn't always work out for the best, I tell you. Coin number 6 now. On to Otis. Good luck, Otis. Nothing on the obverse. Well, how about number 7? Lucky number 7 goes to Carl. We see what Carl gets there. This will be my last reveal for today. This will be the 5th one we've done today, just in case you're counting. Looking back to see the archives of videos to make sure you've watched them all. Today we started with number 684, and we end up here with number 688. That's 5. We will be selling 689, 91, 2, and 93 this evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure you're there here on the Copy Coins channel on that show to be able to get involved with next week's reveals. We have a 1953D, a 1955S, a 1959D, 1960D, and 1964 plain. All of them inexpensive, easy to get into, and a lot of fun because there could be a lot of goodies in the coins therein. Yep. Got a little zinc bubbles going on with this one. A zinca. That's something like a sinca. They make those out of lead. That's interesting. Do you see what I see? Yeah, some sort of a crease running straight across the coin that has nothing to do with any of the design features, not affected by the design features at all, which means it was on the coin prior to it being minted. It was a part out of the blank at one time. Not exactly sure what causes that, but it's interesting. There we go then. Moving on to the reverse. Can't name what's on the obverse, but it is interesting nonetheless. But not a double die. We kind of point things out and move on. That's coin 9 for Jeff Dunn. Coin number 10 now. Be the last one we check on the reverse before we continue on. Coin number 10. Nothing special on that side. Still a lot of softness in the design. I remember the 2010 Lincolns were so sharp. And there's so much crispness to the details, the design. And now it's very squishy. Very mushy. Very squishy, yes. That's my official word, and I'm sticking to it. It's a squishy design. All right, Chubby Pop Chaser in for the next one here. Let's see what we have. I haven't even searched enough Shield Sense yet to find a good-looking Clash. Never seen a really good-looking Clash on a zinc scent. Let's just say I've been busy enough with everything else I've got going on. I haven't really had time to do a whole lot of searching the newer rolls. I think we might solve that a little bit here by putting some of the newer rolls into the reveal lineup. It's like we can search a 2014 plane, 2004 plane. Let's see, there's a 2011 plane. Those make up nice rolls to look at. With regard to anyone and 2019 Lincoln Cents, I no longer have any rolls of 2019 Lincoln Cents. All of the 7 boxes that I had at one time, 2 of them turned out to be circulated coins. So that was kind of a nix. And the other 5, many of which were sold in 2019 or 20, have all dwindled down to nothing as well. So I have no 2019 rolls left. We need to discover something in 2020 because I have more than half a dozen boxes of 2020. They kind of get in my way a little bit. But yeah, so did 1972 at one point in time. 09s have a bunch of nice clashes. I did not know that. I've mostly only really looked at 2009 LP2s for the doubled fingers and stuff. I've not spent a lot of time with any of the other designs. I thought the extra V was 2023. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. I thought the VDBV coins were 2023. And to this day, I still have no idea exactly what they're supposed to be, but what I can tell you is that they are not really as special as some people have made them out to be. Definitely not worth the money people are charging for them. At number 17 now, looking for Stonecutters coins. See what we see on that. They make good BB gun targets. Is that zinc pennies? Can you actually shoot a BB out of an air rifle hard enough to break the copper and show the zinc on these? I might take a 22 after these sometime and see if I can shoot all the way through one with a 22. Use my scope. Hey, that would be a thing if I could like shoot 10 coins or something like that and have them as giveaways. What's up, Paul? How you doing, buddy? Should go through with a 22. That's what I'm thinking. I got a 22 long rifle I could set up out here in the backyard with penny targets and shoot penny targets. That'd actually be kind of fun. So you don't think BBs would go through? 22 would, though. My next step would be a 38 handgun. 9 mil, actually. I'm gonna blow your pennies to smithereens. So what's everybody else got going on this week? Any good stuff? Anything we all need to know about? Anybody have any dreams they would like to talk about? I had a dream. I'll start. I had a dream that I developed this machine that could find old coins underground without using radar to penetrate the ground. You could actually find them by looking on a screen, and you could see little circles on your screen that told you exactly where to dig and how deep to dig to get coins instead of trash and nails and aluminum cans and pull tabs and scrap pieces of aluminum and other crap that you find. So you could actually just go for the coins. And I used my little machine at a city park, and I started finding coins. I started finding coins that nobody else had really even imagined finding. City Park being 150 years old, I was finding silver and all kinds of good stuff. About halfway through the city park, I discovered that some of these shapes, little coin shapes, were in little groups, and those little groups just happened to be inside larger shapes, much larger shapes, that appeared to be about the size of a coffin. And so I dug down to get the coins out of one such area. As I got further and further down, I noticed that I was 3, now 4 feet down, 5 feet down. Around 5.5 feet, I finally start finding coins. And I'm finding coins, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time. With my little scope thing, I knew exactly where to dig, exactly how to get them out of the ground. So I'm digging down to try to get some of my little coins out of the ground, and I'm finding, seated dimes and really cool things, shield nickels and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I hit a bone. The bone turns out to be a human bone. Then I hit another bone, another bone. The bone's not dense enough to show up in the places where you would see metal. Not the range where you would see metal. So I had to lower the range of my machine to see exactly what it was I was running into. And that's where tree roots and things like that start getting in the way, because they're pretty dense wood. Well, dense wood and bone kind of show up the same on my little machine that I developed. This isn't a metal detector. It's a density detector. And so, as I'm going down through the ground finding these coins, I suddenly realize that this city park wasn't always a city park. This city park was the first city cemetery. And I'm digging in a cemetery to get coins that were thrown into the ground on top of coffins by the people who once lived in this area as a sign of wealth into the next life that they could carry with them. You bury coins with them, they would have something to spend when they made it to their next life. And I'm digging these things out of the ground because I had no idea, nor did anyone else living here at the time, that this was a cemetery. Well, there was no way that I could necessarily go back and disperse these coins back into the holes that I had dug. So I called for the police. The policeman came and said, well, you can keep the coins you've already got, but I agree this is a cemetery. You need to stop digging because we need to get this marked as a cemetery and figure out what these bodies are, how old they are, how long they've been here, and get them marked properly. And I started that movement all by having a machine that could read density into the ground in great detail to the extent that you could see little circles where you need to dig up coins. And that's my story. But that was a dream I had. That I had developed the machine that allowed us, with coins and relics anyway, to henceforth forego using a metal detector that only gave us a rough idea of where our targets were. That we could find the targets on a screen, much like an iPad tablet. That we could walk around and use it to pinpoint exactly where good targets would be that we could dig. That would change entirely the game of going metal detecting. You'd be density detecting, and you wouldn't miss anything because it goes down feet. You could also use it to find gold, yes. In fact, you could go to the old tailings piles of the old mines from way back when, and you could find good gold in tailings because sometimes they dumped gold through the sluices. And a lot of times, especially the ones that were looking for flour gold and little flakes, if they had a big nugget, it would end up going right through because the screens that they had were too fine to capture nuggets, and nuggets got poured out with the tailings. My density detector might also be able to find iron meteorites in places where meteorites hit. Those have collectible value as well, plus scientific value. Some of them, they don't have enough pieces of them to study, looking for more pieces, and they're giving grant money away to people who will bring in pieces of the right kind of meteorites. I think maybe I should have a story set up every once in a while for one of these reveals that is a truly hit or miss type reveal that we have no idea what we're going to end up with, but don't expect anything. That way, if we end up getting what we're expecting, then we can at least have some entertainment for the period of time that we happen to be working on them. Not finding anything in this 2024 D roll. Didn't necessarily expect that I was going to find anything. It's kind of one of those chance occurrences. If it's in here, you can't find it if you're not looking at it. But it's probably not in here. That's the way you look at them. So who else has a story? I have another one that I've told on this channel before because I had this dream, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago. And I know I'm looking at a reverse, just giving everything a chance. It's been a number of years since I had this other dream. It's partially based on the truth. It's partially based on real events. So, my uncle is a metal detectorist, likes to hunt for relics, Civil War relics, and older things like that. Not really a big coin hunter, although that's kind of how he got started. So he knows I'm a coin hunter. And he got word that there was a place in southern Missouri that used to be an amusement park, a rather popular amusement park. That the road to that amusement park had been closed and trees had grown over it, and there was no way to get to this amusement park by car any longer, but it backed up to a river that you could navigate using a canoe. That's exactly what we did in my dream. Now, this is where reality turns into fantasy. Took our canoes down, launched them at the river, and had to paddle upstream to get to where we were going. But it wasn't that hard of a paddle upstream. It was kind of a lazy little creek. We got to our destination 2 or 3 miles in. It was kind of warm outside, but it wasn't really, it wasn't obsessively hot, and it also wasn't cold. Kind of one of those long sleeve weather mornings where you take your sleeves off during the middle of the day and enjoy the sunlight. That's kind of what it was like. We get to our destination. It's a gravel bar. We pull our kayaks up on the gravel bar. And I am off to the side working on ground balancing my metal detector, because a lot of times the iron in the ground or moisture in the ground can affect how a metal detector sees what's ground and what's metal. So you have to balance it first, figure out that you have the ground canceled out. I was working on doing that, and my detector would not behave right. My detector was constantly making noise. Wouldn't shut up. I couldn't even find a good spot to ground balance my detector. And so I decide, well, let me move over toward the river some and do it again. Try to ground balance this detector. Got over to the river. Finally found a place where the detector would behave properly for ground balancing. Got the ground balanced out and started walking back over toward the kayaks. My uncle standing over there getting ready for his dig. He puts on knee protectors and all that. He's a little older, so when he gets down on the ground to dig a hole, he wants to have his knees protected. And my detector just starts screaming and hollering and squalling. What is going on with this thing? So I find the place where it is most disturbing, has the most signals, and I just start digging. Right there in the gravel bar and the rocks. I dig down about 6 or 7 inches and I find a coin, and then another coin, a little pile of pennies, and a nickel here and a dime there. And these things are all from the 1890s to the early 1900s and 1906, 1910, up in that area of dates. And I'm pulling these coins out, and I'm in this mode where I'm not really paying any attention to anything going on around me. I'm only paying attention to what I'm doing. I've got this garden trowel, and I'm knees and hands into this pile of rock that eventually turns into a pit that I'm in to find coins. And I'm loading things down with coins, loading my pockets, loading anything where I can find coins. I have a mine lab. I don't know how to use it. Mickey and I are trying to learn the detectors that my dad gave me one of his, and my uncle gave me one of his. So I have 2 detectors. Don't know how to use either one of them. One is a White's, and the other is a mine lab. But so we're sitting here, and I'm using a pinpointer, and I just keep finding more and more coins. And I don't need the detector. I switched the detector off because my pinpointer is finding coins every 1.5 inches, every 2 inches, everywhere. And so after a while, I realized that I've got a good 5-10 pounds of coins that I'm going to need to get back downstream and start thinking about how stable my canoe will be with that extra 5 or 10 pounds of coins on it. That 5 or 10 pounds of coins, once my uncle starts digging with me, turns into 20, 30, 50 pounds. So here we got a 50-pound bag worth of coins. No bag. We have to go back downstream without the coins to go hunt down a farm where we could find a burlap bag and take a burlap bag with us to fill it with coins. Fill our burlap bag full of coins. And no matter what we do, we can't seem to get the kayaks light enough so that they'll float downstream. Seems that the water's gone down just a little bit during the day, and it's not as deep as it had been before. And so we're fighting to get our coins back downstream. So what we end up doing is we end up spreading the coins out evenly on the floor of the kayak and walking the kayak in the water back to our destination. That way the kayak has evenly spread weight, and it's not quite as much as what we had weighed, but it was almost our body weight in coins. As we're walking back, we get really close to the point where we're going to disembark and start scooping coins out to put them in the vehicle. And, well, the story ends there. You never know exactly what happened, exactly what coins there were, but I can tell you it was loaded down with Indians, barbers, coins like that, even a gold dollar here and there. That was one of those dreams that was so lucid when I woke up from it, I actually expected that I was going to see that pile of coins somewhere. Never did. Except in my own mind's eye when I think about that dream and being out there on the river with my uncle. That's my other story. Next time, someone else has to come up with one. Because, well, these stories are based on dreams that I had for real, not stories that actually happened. Because there are no stories in my life that actually happened that were really worth the merit of discussing in a crowd. Well, another 50 coin roll comes and goes without event, which anybody could tell anyone that's expected more than 3/4 of the time. And, well, here we are. So I appreciate this. One more reminder that we will be having a reveal show this evening at 7 p.m. You'll be able to come by and get yourself involved in these rolls into the future. Not the best thing to be telling you right after we have 3 dud rolls, but we do have good rolls coming up for this coming week that probably have stuff in them. So be sure you're there 7 p.m. this evening for that show. Then tomorrow we've got the auction, and then the reveals for this week will be going on into the week. Well, I appreciate it, folks. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.